My mother always taught me and my sisters many life lessons. And when she taught us, she never really expounded on what it really meant. Like, she'd say it and then just leave us hanging. And we'd be like, what the fuck you mean by that? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we ain't say it to her because she would have whooped our ass. But that's what we was thinking. You know what I mean? Saying shit like, early bird gets the worm. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. You know, shit like that. But one thing that stuck out to me the most, the one thing she always tried to instill in us the most, was a closed mouth don't get fed. And even then, it took me a couple years to really understand what that meant. She used to always tell us, like, you can't depend on people to know how you feel. You can't depend on people to know what you're thinking. You got to open your mouth. A closed mouth don't get fed. See, but the one thing about that saying right there is I was a kid when I heard that shit. I'm talking about 3rd, 4th grade, 5th grade, shit like that. But I never knew how much of an impact those words would have on my life. See, growing up, I was shy as fuck. Matter of fact, the only time I wasn't shy was when I hooped. That was my thing, basketball. No matter what I was going through at home, no matter what was going on in my life, when I got on a basketball court, nothing else mattered. You feel me? Playing with my friends, playing football, all that shit, nothing else mattered. See, but as I got into my spiritual journey in life, and I look back over my life and certain shit that was said to me and everything that I learned, I realized then that that was spirit let me know right then and there at a young age that in this lifetime that I'm living right now, it requires me to open my mouth. And for years, I was shy as fuck. In grade school, I sucked at getting in front of the class and reading papers. And, you know, when I tried to join plays and shit like that, like being a narrator and shit like that, like I would remember, you know, after studying and going over my words and shit, I would remember what I was supposed to say. But it was like when I got in front of people, I nutted up. Didn't remember shit. And it was very embarrassing for me because everybody looking at me like, bitch, you gonna talk? But I couldn't because I was shy. And then as my life went on, the shit that I experienced, the trauma, you know, a lot of people deal with shit different ways. You know, everybody don't deal with the same shit the same. But what happened to me was it shut me up. The shit that I experienced, it hurt me so fucking bad that I shut up. Like I couldn't say shit. Plenty of times where I cried, but it was to the point where I wouldn't even express myself. And the only peace that my older sister, Monique, had about the situation, the only peace she had about me being quiet is she knew that if it was something I couldn't handle, I would come to her. You know what I mean? She would call and see if I would answer my phone, make sure I'm okay, just to check on me because she knew I wouldn't say shit. On top of me being stubborn by nature, getting me to talk is like pulling teeth. But when my mother used to always tell us, a closed mouth don't get fed, I never knew how important that shit would be to me in my life to this day. A lot of y'all that ask for things, you pray for things, you want certain shit to manifest. Some of those things you've already gotten. Some of them things you waiting on. But I tell you this, a good chunk of that shit that you waiting on ain't gonna come unless you open your mouth. That's what I had to realize. Like, y'all see me in front of this camera and I'm still camera shy. I don't know if some of y'all can tell or not, but you know, it gets easier the more you do it, you know what I mean? But years ago, I would have never thought. The thought of me being in front of a camera would have never crossed my mind. See, but Spirit, all throughout my life, Spirit tried to warn me and let me know several times that a huge part of my call and a huge part of my purpose, I needed to open my mouth. And I went back and forth with Spirit. I laughed like, you gotta be kidding me. Ain't no way in hell. I couldn't speak in front of people when I was in school. Like, I just didn't want to talk. The only way I was able to speak in front of people was if I was comfortable with them. You know, if I knew them and shit. That was the only way. But other than that, I would not open my mouth. On top of everything that I had endured. Shit that was traumatizing to me. Shit that broke my heart. It shut me up. So Spirit was like, okay then. You don't want to listen to me? Life gonna whoop your ass until one day you get it. Life gonna tear you up until you ain't got no choice but to open your mouth. See, and that's exactly what the fuck happened. Just like most of you, a lot of you out there, life kicked my ass. You hear me? So much so to the point where I contemplated suicide a couple times. I ain't want to fucking be here. I couldn't motivate myself. I couldn't encourage myself. And when I realized that a lot of people wouldn't do it for me, that shit hurt my feelings. Like, I was soft as fuck. Everything got to me. And it was plenty of times where I got real close to opening my mouth earlier in my life. But that's when my stubbornness kicked in. That's when I was refusing to answer my calling, refusing to realize what my purpose was. All because it required me to do some shit that I really wasn't comfortable doing at all. Hell, I ain't even love myself until I would say 27 years old. I'm 33. I was so fucking quiet to the point where I couldn't even look myself in the mirror, y'all, and just look at me and just simply say, I love you. I couldn't do it. The most I would look in the mirror was like, you know, wash my face, brush my teeth. But other than that, like, to really look in the mirror, look me in the eyes, to tell myself how beautiful I was, how much I love myself, I could not do it. Took a long time. It took that long. Like I said, I'm 33. That wasn't that long ago. A lot of y'all, what y'all asking for, what y'all waiting on, is going to require you to open your mouth. It's going to require you to become uncomfortable. Because during those moments in your life, that's when you learn about yourself more. See, when you answer your calling and your purpose and shit, it ain't gonna be easy. Just because you answer it don't mean you're not gonna go through shit. You're gonna always go through things until the day that you die. Matter of fact, once you answer that shit, you're gonna go through it worse. Because what's gonna happen is, All kinds of shit gonna be thrown your way to stop you. See, believing in yourself is only half of the battle. It's taking that first step that matters the most. People walk around in life all the time talking about what they want to do, talking about who they want to be and all this other shit, but they won't take the first step. And a lot of people won't take that first step because of fear. Fear ain't real. When y'all approach shit in life, you automatically think about all the bad shit that can go wrong. You automatically think about people that may not support you. Or you think about, what if you don't become successful at what you talking about doing? But you can't focus on that shit, right? Because if you focus on it too much, you ain't gonna go nowhere. And you ain't gonna know what the fuck is really gonna happen if you don't take that first step. I had to take that first step and open my fucking mouth. And it took me a minute when I decided to do it. And right now, it's still a process. I ain't gonna lie. But I know it's something that I need to do. Because I realized in my life that the more I refused to open my mouth, because that was a part of my calling. Like me being a motivational speaker, I know I'm supposed to be that. The thought of that make me nervous. But I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I had to learn in my journey though, that when you answer your calling, everything is gonna work out for you. And everything that come your way, you built to make it through that shit. Can't nothing or nobody stop you. Everybody ain't gonna agree with what I gotta say. People gonna talk they shit, whatever the fuck, but you gets no response from me. When you don't answer your calling, you run into a lot of chaos. You make your life harder than what it really needs to be. Yes, you're going to continue to go through things. But when you walk in that, it's going to teach you how to get through that shit. It's going to teach you how to endure. It's going to teach you to keep taking steps. Not only take that first step, but to keep taking steps, to keep walking. And it ain't going to be easy. You still going to cry. You still going to have your days where you ain't going to feel like doing shit. You still going to have days where you feel a lot of fucking pressure. But it's going to teach you to keep moving forward. A closed mouth don't get fed. And even a lot of people out there that pray. A lot of people that pray nowadays, like when you pray, your prayer is mediocre. It's like, yeah, you open your mouth, but you ain't really opened your mouth. You feel me? Like, yeah, you have faith that if you pray for something, it's going to come to you. But you won't be specific, like you're able to be. Your prayer is basic. Your manifestations is basic. Anything that you want in life, anything that you want to achieve in life is already yours. You just got to step out your comfort zone. You just got to open your mouth. You got to take that first step. Like I said, believing in yourself is only half of the battle. People are listening to you talk about what you want to do, talk about what you want to be and where you want to go in life. But ain't nobody gonna push you. Ain't nobody gonna call your phone every morning and make sure you wake up and do what it is that you gotta fucking do. You gotta do that shit. And you gotta be able to do that no matter what come your way. You gotta be able to get up and do whatever it is the fuck that you have to do, no matter how you feel. Because it's during those times that's gonna make you stronger. And it's gonna prepare you for the next obstacle to come. If you're too comfortable, you ain't doing enough. Not everybody is meant to make videos. But I do agree that everybody needs to tell their story. Tell your story. I think a lot of people don't want to tell their story because they look at people that's like, you know, big and they got a lot of money and shit like that. But you fail to realize that those are just ordinary people just like you. And a lot of them people done experience similar shit, if not worse than you. But the only difference is, while everybody did a bunch of fucking talking, those ordinary people that made something of themselves, those ordinary people that made it to the top, they took that first step. When people went out clubbing and shit, staying up all night, sleeping all day, they were up, working, being creative. That's the only difference. And if they can do that shit, we can do it too. You just gotta open your mouth.